We've got it. We've got the gem. We've done the near impossible by getting into that castle. The castle of the devil himself. And getting out again. Now all we have to do is find our way back. Back down to the Argynvostholt place. And claim the blade. If only now they'll let us have it. And if only this raging storm will give us a break. It's strange, really. 1 minute we're doing fine even through the snow. I even get a vision of being on the right track. And then all frozen hell breaks loose. Yeah, we were lucky we found this little cave. Must be some sort of outpost. But what's this damn thing about dishonouring the dead? I don't get it. An orc baby strangled during birth? Stupid visions. I'll kill the Count just for messing with my head. I only wish that I could strangle him to death with my own bare hands. But I suppose a blessed blade will have to suffice. This is Red Moon role-playing.
As always, the morning is cold and grey, especially cold up here. Your new clothing certainly helps a little, but it is still a very cold place you find yourself in, and even now a very light snow is falling. Still, looking outside of the cave, you, Roshek, can certainly see a little better than you did in the night. You can see that off the road, this mountain stretches up very high behind you and before you, downwards, leading to more mountains, and maybe if this was a clear sunny day you could see for miles, but unfortunately, in Barovia, you still can only see as long as the fog permits you. Still, you do see the road descending down a little, and you can see a bridge leading over what looks like a chasm, and then continuing down the mountains and back down into what you believe would soon lead you back to the woodlands you are familiar with.
Looks promising, I think to myself, as I try to rub myself warm. At first, when I woke up and the fire had died, I was a bit annoyed at Roman because I thought he'd keep it alive. But then I noticed that we'd actually run out of the firewood that we had. So there's nothing to do about it, really. I try to get into my stuff as quickly as possible. I look back into the cave to see what Roman is doing.
I have woken up and I am praying. I'm sitting there and I'm contemplating the things that I saw the previous day and what it means. What does it mean? What does it all mean? Well, there's a journey ahead of us and no point in thinking about it now. I get myself ready and put on my things, and yes, there's a long day ahead of us.
Are you done with your praying? I think we should get moving while the weather is still somewhat reasonably still.
Yes, I have done what is required. Lathander will be with us, albeit from afar. Let us get started.
I'm sure he will. And I start moving out from the cave, looking around as I go out for any sign of life.
There is nothing, and if you are happy to, you will begin to make your way down towards that bridge, which appears to be the only place you can go, really, other than back up.
Seeing that there seems to be nothing around, I relax a bit, and I stretch and I say, right, it seems that's the way down there. There is a bridge going over something that looks like a deep chasm of sorts. Let's be careful.
Yes. I throw a glance back towards where we came from that place where that unfathomable evil was. Can I see it from here? Is there any whispering coming from there, or is it too far away?
It's too far away, you feel, to hear anything. But yes, in the dim morning light, you can actually now still see up the road that imposing gate and tower.
I shudder a bit seeing it, and yes, I heed Roshek's call and start moving towards the bridge and the chasm.
I'm thinking to myself that I'd rather pretend that didn't happen yesterday. I don't know if those things were materialized, or if they actually could have affected us if they had caught up with us. But it is unsettling what happened, and that they might show up again while we're in this vulnerable position.
And so you continue down the road, heading towards this stone bridge that passes over this gorge. At each end of the bridge is a 30-foot tall, 30-foot wide stone arch. Atop each one are two statues of armoured knights, on horseback with lances, charging towards one another. The wind bites and howls as it comes down this gorge. Looking down the gorge, you would see, many, many feet below, a great river surging along. What do?
I hesitate a bit. Are there railings on the bridge, or is it just a bare bridge?
No, the bridge is simply an old stone bridge that passes between these arches, one on the end you're on, and the other on the other end.
Not too fond of it, but it's better than the thick woods, at least. I remark, look at those statues. Aren't those similar to the ones in the portal room that we came from?
They are indeed. I wonder what they are to symbolize. I wonder who used to live here before.
Two knights on horseback charging at each other. Feels like some sort of pompous human lord thing.
Yes, that would be logical, wouldn't it?
I wonder how far away we are from where we were before. I feel the ring on my finger.
You can feel the presence of the holder of the other ring. A lot closer now than last night. A lot closer. Still, though, that feeling is down from where you are now. It is not that close to this location, but definitely now almost a northeastern direction from where you're standing.
Esmeralda is somewhere below. She has moved closer throughout the night. Let's keep going, and I start making my way over the bridge.
Yes, and I follow closely by.
As you begin to walk over this bridge, again for a moment feeling the biting cold of the wind as it picks up on this open area, you walk along, reaching the other side of the bridge. Take a moment to look behind you. Both of you roll me a perception check.
6.
13.
Roman, you shiver a little and look further on, noticing that the road now continues to descend lower and lower. Perhaps finally you will soon be leaving the high mountains and going back to more hill land and then maybe even forest. Although you are on foot, it occurs to you this journey is going to probably be quite a while. You have not travelled on foot for quite some time in this land. Roshek, looking behind you, you can't help but notice an interesting little shadow of something very, very far away. Maybe a bird. Interesting.
And it makes me think of Bertie again. Maybe they're looking for us. Maybe not. And I start moving again. And I say, let's try and pick up speed. It's probably a long journey now that we're on foot.
Yes, and we must ensure that we make it someplace safe before nightfall. It will not be good to be out on foot.
Oh, and I feel this. I feel the urgency, and I'm a bit worried. So I'll start moving.
Interesting, though. The bird seems a bit bigger than you remembered a few seconds ago.
And then I stop and I look at it. I don't want to get surprised by anything.
Of course not. It's just a bird, though, I mean. Not that big, surely. It must be quite close, although you then have a weird moment where you start to think. Is it close? Or is it far away? Its wings are outstretched. It's getting bigger, Roshek. It's getting much bigger as it's coming towards you.
Something's coming.
Best get ready.
Yeah, look around. Is there any shelter or any place that we could avoid being seen, or...?
None at all. After all, this bridge is very obvious to something that was flying above. It's very open. The bird is increasing in size, Roshek. It's no longer... No, an eagle? Bigger than an eagle. Much bigger than an eagle. Much bigger perhaps even than an ogre. It is descending rapidly, Roshek. What do you two do?
I say, get out of the way of it, and I go to the side and I try to get ready to dodge in case it comes bearing down on us, and I bring out my longbow.
Everyone roll initiative.
12.
13.
Roshek, you have time to strap on your bow and get it ready as this beast starts to descend upon you. It is gargantuan now, Roshek. Your earlier estimations of its size must have been because it was so far away, but it has very quickly gained speed and is descending upon you. Its black wings outstretched, its eyes glowing red. It's some sort of... You think almost to yourself it does resemble an eagle, but a giant eagle, with black feathers, almost more like a crow as well, a combination of both of them. It is coming for you. What do you do?
I draw an arrow and I aim at it to let that go when it's within distance, so it's a ready action.
Very well. Do you do anything else?
I shout at it. Stop there, beast!
Roman, Roshek has his bow ready and is shouting at this beast. From your observation, the beast does not seem to care or notice someone shouting at it. Stop. What do you do?
It is heading for us, though, yes? It is clearly seeing us as prey, yes?
Exactly. Its wings are outstretched and its claws, or talons rather, are open and ready. It is going to swoop down, you think now, on Roshek.
That is not something that can stand. I pray quickly to Lathander to grant me the power of his holy light, and I unleash a guiding bolt upon this black bird, hoping to chase it away. I have no issue with this creature, but we certainly don't want it destroying our morning. 21.
Roll damage.
14.
And your guiding bolt slams straight into the side of this creature just as it's about to descend upon Roshek. It's very easy to hit. After all, you now see, as I said, that its size is immense, possibly the size of 5 or 6 houses. This creature. It screeches in agony as your wound hits it on the side, and it seems to be knocked a little off its trajectory course as it descends upon Roshek. You unleash your bow as you were ready when it moved. Roll your attack.
And you have advantage on the roll thanks to the effects of the guiding bolt.
Indeed.
19.
That's a hit. Roll damage.
8.
And your arrow flies straight into one of the talons that was just about to descend upon you. You feel a burst of movement as those talons, ready to perhaps scoop you up, seem off-kilter at the sudden pain. This does not stop the creature still doing its best to smash its beak into you as it comes straight over right above you. And yet, you manage to scramble out of the way in time. You clearly have thrown this creature off its balance. It immediately, within a few seconds, is away from you again, its momentum and speed carrying it beyond you. It ascends quickly back into the air, flying away from you now, screeching in pain and agony at your attacks. What do you two do? It's your turn, Roshek.
Well, that's it. It's gonna go down or bring us up with it. And can I shoot at it from here?
You certainly can.
Right. Well, I'll do that. I roll 7 on the first one.
You fire your bow, but this time the arrow goes wide.
I grunt and I try to steady myself. I'm a bit shaken up by the size of this thing. I let another arrow fly, and it's a 14.
Again, your arrow flies wide. You perhaps are a little startled. After all, this thing was only seconds ago directly above you. You feel, if not for your early attacks, it would have literally tried to scoop you up, as you've seen hawks do on mice. Roman, it is your turn then. What do you do?
I will await a bit. I do not wish to destroy this creature unless it will force us to do so. I will keep my spell at the ready should it decide to descend upon us again.
Indeed, and you wait. The beast, for a moment, swoops over up ahead, and then seems to ascend quickly, again moving into the direction of the mountains above you, and seeming to fly away. Perhaps, Roshek, you were successful in convincing it that you were not the easiest prey to consume. Although you cannot help but feel your actual attacks probably were not that bothersome.
It's probably looking for another moment of surprise. Let's try and get out of here. I heft my bow and start moving.
Yes, it will not forget that pain. We'll just have to hope that it does not come back to take its revenge upon us, but hopefully it has realized that there are easier ways to get fed in this land.
And so you begin to move on, looking behind you every now and again and seeing this creature once again getting smaller and smaller as it seems to return high up in the mountains. After all, such creatures, you are pretty sure, can only live in such places. They'd be quite noticed if they lived in the lower parts of the valley. And you continue to go down. The road is hard, long, and most importantly, a little dull. You, especially Roshek, I'm sure, will be thinking that if you were on horseback, this journey would be half the time. But it is not. You walk. How do you feel as you both walk? It has perhaps almost never happened that you've just been walking beside each other on a long mountain road for this amount of time. What do you do?
I feel uneasy at first, and like you described, I feel a bit impatient. But then I remember times in hills, and good times travelling on foot. Times before I got my horse, which wasn't easy to come by. A horse isn't that cheap, and it's not easy to steal one either. So it's not that bad, really. It's sort of nice, almost. You can count on mountains to hold strange beasts and beings. But there's something about the air up here, though it's cold, but it's It's familiar. It's closer to home than the forests are. And I start talking a bit about this, jesting and talking about old stories about ambushes in the mountains, about once when there was a caravan that seemed to have set up some sorts of ambush themselves. It was the standard wheel having fallen off the caravan, and we approached in our little group, and then when we saw it in the distance, we just thought, okay, they're the ones that are trying to make an ambush, and so we made a wide circle around them, and that was right. We did find some other people lying in wait for someone who would try and help out the caravan, and I laugh about this, how we ambushed the ambushers and made a quite nice finding afterwards, and we tied some people up, leaving them hanging to their wheels and laughing at them while we ate their food, and how they sort of had what was coming for them. And surely even you, as a righteous priest, must think that they deserve that fate.
I nod politely throughout this story. It is interesting. What do we deserve? What is it that we have coming to us? Our actions do have consequences, and I believe that it is the sum of our good actions that will determine the judgment that awaits us, the thing that we truly deserve. But the only one that can judge us is ultimately God, and in my case, Lathander. Who do you think will judge you, Roshek?
That's an interesting thought. I know who I care about. I care about the clan. It's not something that I'd love to talk about, I admit, but what they think of me, I think, is more important than what any distant sort of divine being would think. It all feels a bit too out of hand.
I can see how you would think that, and yes, family is important, and those close to us are ultimately the ones who know us the best, at least of those creatures who live together with us here in this realm.
When you talked with the Count about everything, it sounded like a whole load of rubbish. I didn't even think you'd have that much nonsense in you, to be honest. Talking about, how your god had deserted you and maybe finding a new purpose and this and that, or whatever it was. But, was there something there? I mean, he is distant in here, this god that you pray to.
He is distant, but in my heart he is always close. And I put on a really brave smile. I try to appear as though I truly believe what I say, and my faith is unwavering.
I squint at you for a minute, or for a second, trying to read through your face, but then I just nod, looking convinced. Yeah, I suppose there's no changing you, is there?
No, there is not. It is nice with a walk, though. I haven't been on a long walk like this since the pilgrimage to the spires of the morning in Waterdeep. That was a long journey, but yes, we did it together, a number of us clerics, and there were a lot of interesting conversations throughout that journey, talking about Lathander, talking about the Holy Scriptures. It was a good time. I have fond memories of long walks, but I wonder, I have a feeling this one will perhaps not be as joyous. We need to be on our guard, Roshek. We cannot let guard fall down. We were just in a situation where the Count and the Count's minions were right on our heels. Perhaps they have made it here now. They might be right behind us. So, yes, let us stay sharp.
I guess that sort of finishes the conversation.
Indeed, and so you continue, for at least a few more hours. As I said, the road is long, although heading downwards perhaps is a little quicker than it would have been heading up on foot. Still, you feel the day going on. But you are descending, and finally you notice the road seems to be going back into forest, and you feel, level-wise, maybe you are back on roads you are familiar with. In fact, you're pretty sure a good 10-20 minutes from here you can see ahead of you a crossroads that you have gone by before. It is the crossroads that was once near the Wizard's Tower.
The crossroad next to the Wizard's Tower. I see. Something about that is surprising.
I move up and I see if the road sign is still broken.
Indeed it is. And having now come to this point, you then feel finally you are back in familiar territory. Yes, Krezek would have been to the west from here, and then from here eastwards. Valakai is not too far, although on foot the journey is a little longer, and then yes, also from here, you are close to Argynvostholt.
I have a bad feeling that, well, our saviour didn't make it out of there. What do you think?
It is certainly possible. But then again, he did seem resourceful. He probably had some surprises with him. Let us hope that it was enough to save him from the Count's wrath. But you and me, we have a mission now, a mission to accomplish in Argynvostholt.
Oh, that's right. And I feel the ring again to see where Esmeralda would be.
She is extremely close. Maybe almost, in fact, as you're then looking at the ring and feeling it, you can hear the sound of horses. Multiple horses coming from the east road.
And I believe our loyal carriage is about to arrive, and I stand there and I cross my arms and I wait.
I feel relief. I had expected a much longer journey. I had expected that we had ended up far, far away from where we wanted to be, and yet it wasn't that far at all. This is good. This is very good. Yes, perhaps we can do this.
It is, although, looking up at the sky, evening is already descending. You did spend pretty much the whole day getting back down here, especially on foot.
And I nod and I agree, yeah. Well, it seems like this land here is limited in how far it stretches. It's a certain area, isn't it, that's been sort of surrounded by these mists.
Yes, that is right. That is right. But I did get the feeling in our previous conversation about this realm that there is perhaps more hiding, but it is fortunate. It is fortunate that we are close to our goal. And yes, we know what we must do. Let us wait for our friends now to arrive. Hopefully they're both safe.
And looking on the road, you see a familiar figure on one horse, with some rope behind her, attached to two other horses that she's been riding in tandem with together. And that is all.
Huh. I nod towards her. Esmeralda, good to see you.
Esmeralda pulls up, looking haggard and tired, and finally, looking at her ring, looks to you and nods. Oh, by the gods, I have reached you. Good. It has worked. Where is Van Richten? He's not with you?
No, he remained behind. He was trying to do something in the castle last when my thoughts reached his. I hope that he has made it out of there alive, but if you haven't seen him, well, he might be in trouble.
Last time we saw him was in the portal room. We managed to get there through some trouble and, we did put our hands on the prize. I look in my pocket to see if I find the gem.
The gem is indeed in your pouch, safe and warm to the touch.
Well, and I let it be there and I pat the pouch and I say, well, he could have changed the direction of the portal somehow. There was a commotion of creatures coming, so I know he was trying to buy us time to get through. It could be that he's somewhere else in this land that we don't really know where.
Esmeralda simply sighs. She frowns heavily. Roman, your insight tells you she is deeply upset at this news. Damn it, I knew this was going to happen. That's why he sent me. Damn him. I thought this might occur, but I thought if he was with you, you'll be fine. He told me to come here because he knew this was where you'd arrive. Or he was pretty sure of it. Oh no.
Well, he is a very, very powerful man. If anyone could get out of there, it would be him. Come now, let us put faith in him. Let us pray for him and let us believe that he will make it out of there. And should he still be in the castle, well, I believe we will need to go there again soon.
I just go over to collect my horse, untie it, and see how it is doing through all this.
He looks well, but very tired. You imagine, in order for her to have got to this point, she must have been riding pretty much all night and day. You also notice no sign of the wagon.
Right. Where did you leave the wagon? And where is Rudolph's horse?
He requested it be left on the road. I imagine by this point it'll have been ransacked by our foes. After all, I couldn't get here this quickly with a wagon in tow, could I?
What about Mishka? I suppose she was with him in the castle, of course.
She nods.
Well, we've got business to do. We've got the prize. There's no time to dally about. Whatever happened to him, it's not gonna be of any use. And I pat my horse. There, boy. You'll get some rest. You will get some rest, but we need to make our way to Argynvostholt again and see what this stone can do to the place.
Yes, we will bring light to those that truly need it.
Indeed, and you mount up on your horses, and with Esmeralda seeming a little disheartened, she does seem to agree with haste. She does, after all, remark to you that she imagines she will have pursuit coming from her direction very soon. After all, Roshek, you're a tactical man. When last you heard, apparently multiple foes were coming right behind you. It would take them time to come here if they knew you were here, which hopefully they don't, but still, time might not be such a saving grace at this point.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Roman, you can't help but have a moment's thought. You just said to have faith in Van Richten, and you're sure he had a plan and is fine, but it seemed part of his plan to send Esmeralda here. That is not the plan someone makes when they think they're going to be safe, sending others away, is it?
No, that is true. But he is an experienced hunter of these vampires. He must have known what he was getting into. Perhaps he hoped to take him with him, or perhaps he has a deeper plan. But there is no point in thinking about it now. Let us put our faith in Lathander. Lathander will guide him like he will guide me, like he will guide us. He must do that. Surely he must do that. We are on a mission, after all. Yes. To Argynvostholt. Let us make haste.
And you begin to ride down a road, Esmeralda quickly points out to you, leading to Argynvostholt, but just a little quicker than if you'd gone, I believe, the road you'd taken before in the past. And you start to ride, and darkness descends upon you as night begins. You cannot help but feel a sense of apprehension as you go past the woods. More so than ever now, that feeling of being watched is high. And yet, you arrive, eventually, once again at Argynvostholt, the fog once again rising as the foreboding-looking mansion lies before you. Still, nothing seems to be out of the ordinary, and you are now familiar, at least, with some of the interior. What do you do as you ride towards the mansion?
Well, I'm thinking to myself what we could say. I turn to Roman. What do you think we should say to them? That we want to praise the Argynvost again, or how do you think how do you think they let us in?
I think we shall tell them the truth. We are here to return a possession of their lord, to bring it back. And that is all we intend to do. Something we have taken back from the enemy. Yes, we have taken something from their hated enemies. Surely that is something that they will approve of. Yes.
Yeah, everyone except this Vladimir fellow, who doesn't want anything but sulk, and he wants everyone to sulk too. And I try to imagine him with an axe in his head, but for some reason it's hard.
At this point, Esmeralda looks behind her, frowning, and remarks, "Well, you'll know alternatively, if you know where to go, we could run as fast as possible to that location." She smiles a little at you, as the sound of wolves can now be heard, not quite here yet, but coming from behind you on the roads leading to this mansion.
What do you mean, that we go in through the side entrance and just trying to stay low?
What's wrong with the front door?
Well, they will notice us, won't they?
We might not have a choice, she says. She's already dismounted her horse and is moving. Once again, the sound of wolves, multiple wolves. And yet maybe... is it wolves? The howls sound a little louder than that. Things are coming to your location from behind. You do not know how much time you have. What do you do?
Yes, the front door it is. Let us go. And let us bring our horses with us. They cannot be outside. Are those werewolves? Is that the sound?
Maybe they won't be admitted anyway. Right, let's do it. Let's move quickly then.
Esmeralda has already taken the lead, stepping up that stone staircase that led to those great doors. Once again, you notice behind you the great statue of a dragon open its mouth, and cold air slowly filter out of it. Esmeralda does not seem to mind, as she is already starting to push open the great doors that lead inside. What do you do?
Yes, I follow and help.
Yeah, I want to take the lead myself, because I know where we're supposed to go. And I think I would know it better than her.
Indeed, and you push open the doors with a low creak, and once again find yourself in the great main chamber of Argynvostholt. Those stairs, the double stairs leading upwards, and that picture on the wall. Underneath, doorways leading left and right. Right, you know, would lead you back to that spider-filled chamber. And then two little tunnels that logically would take you back to that old dining hall, and then the chapel. Again, you remember the location well. Just as you're entering, Roman, you turn and can see definitely, approaching on the road, movement in the trees.
They're here. Quickly, let's move inside and get the horses with us.
Get the door closed.
And with a bit of effort, you manage to get the horses inside and close the doors. And once again, for a moment, you are just met with oppressive silence and a sense of unease in this place. Esmeralda looks to you and remarks, "Right, let's be quick. Where do we go now?"
And I turn to Roman. Did he want us to return it to his grave, or did you want us to return to the tower?
Yes, I was somewhat unclear on that point, but the light came from the tower, although, yes, it wouldn't hurt to stop by the crypt first.
That was where we met his presence, after all. Yeah, let's do that.
Indeed, I would say, Roshek, thinking about it, and Roman as well, that a final resting place, it would make sense, the graveyard more than the tower itself.
So that's where we set off. I take the lead to get us there. I am quite uneasy from this eerie silence.
I try to, we don't have my weapon drawn, I try to look as if I'm here on business and as if I am not a threat.
Am I right to assume you would then head through one of those little archways that lead straight to that dining room and then the chapel, correct?
Yes.
You begin walking, again feeling that oppressive feeling all around you. You, within a few minutes, at a quick speed, find yourself in that dining room, and once again those doors that led to the chapel. You walk into the chapel. This time you do not see any figures waiting by the altar. Just the quiet chapel. Dark now. Night, after all, has fallen. Have you cast a source of light by this point?
If it is too dark to see, then yes, I do cast the cantrip light to, yes, light things up and ensure that we can both see and be seen. Again, we are not here on some covert thing. We are friends to these people, and, well, that is how I would like us to be seen. We pray to the same God, after all.
I don't share his conviction about this, and I grunt a little at him conjuring the light, but I say nothing more.
And you find yourself in the chapel, and once again on the left-hand side, that doorway that led to the graveyard. It has not been resealed. You notice the bar is still lying where you last left it. Roshek, what do you do?
Well, now we're so close, I pick up the pace and I open my pouch to take up the gem.
Roman, as you look behind you, you notice on the upper balcony, you remember, of course, after all, the stairs that led up to an upper balcony that led it away, figures have started to appear. 2 or 3 of these silent warriors are starting to assemble above, and in front of them, without his helm, again, the one who called himself Godfrey. What do you do?
I make a courteous nod to them. They are behind us, yes, not in front of us. And then I continue moving towards the crypt.
Just as you do, you hear Godfrey call out, "What have you done? I told you not to return, you fools!"
We are bringing the light, Godfrey. Things will be well again, and you will be able to get the rest that you deserve. Just allow us to fulfill our mission here, and you will all be able to rest in peace.
You notice a look of confusion on his features. This look is not shared by the others standing near him. You see them focus their red eyes upon you and begin to move to the stairway, obviously soon making to come down. What do you do?
As he speaks, I'm making my way, hoping that he will sort of delay them a little bit. As I get closer to the mausoleum and the crypts, I will talk to see if the disembodied voice and presence is still there, and I will say, "I have brought back the prize."
You hear nothing for a moment, taking a while to look round the graveyard. Getting away from Roman, it is hard to see, although you have your dark vision. Esmeralda is coming close behind you. The cold of the graveyard surrounds you now, this place even more intimidating in darkness than it was when you last came in the vague light. However, the mausoleum is close ahead. Roman, what are you doing? Roshek has descended into the graveyard. Esmeralda's behind him. It's only you now at the doorway, noticing these figures starting to come down towards you, but not quite there yet. What do you do?
I am following my friends then, keeping an eye to the back there, trying to see if they get dangerously close. In that case, I shall find a way to delay them, but I do not wish to engage them in any kind of hostilities. No, I hope that the light will make them see reason, and that will conclude our business here without any, well, blood or pain or violence. Yes, I continue moving after my friends, and I look back to keep track of them.
And so you descend down into the graveyard, joining them, although you are a little farther back than they are. Roshik, on the other hand, you have almost made your way to the mausoleum when you hear a sound. Almost a response, perhaps, to what you said earlier. But you can't quite hear it. What do you do?
I try not to stop, but I get slightly delayed by this. I try to hear what it says, but I don't stop for long.
You can hear it now. It's someone saying, "Finally." And before you, directly in front of the mausoleum, you see a distortion of air and sound. A circular shape starts to appear, with a glistening behind it, and out of it comes a figure. A figure skeletal in appearance, clad in an old grey tattered cloak, floating ever so slightly off the ground. What do you do?
I say once again, I have the price. Will this bring back the light? Will this enable us to get the blade?
The individual tilts his head. It gives a little shrug. I care not what your prize does, but the Count is very eager. It is not easy for you to deliver it to wherever it needs to be. I am afraid the time has come, friend of the child of Markovia, for you to die. I trust that will not be an issue.
So I take a moment here. So this is not the thing. Is it the same voice that asked us to come and bring the gem, or is it something else?
It is not the same creature at all, and as your dark vision adjusts, you recall this creature. You last saw him at the Abbey of Kresik.
Oh no. And I shout out curses, and I try to dash past him to get into the crypt.
Roman, what do you do as you see this unfolding? Roshik has started to try and dash past this creature, but what did you do when it appeared and started speaking?
As I see it, I am immediately filled with wrath, with hate, with feelings I'm not supposed to feel, but I feel all the same. And I bring forth the holy symbol of Ravenkind, and I scream, "Begone!" And I use the 3 charges to cast Turn Undead with disadvantage. I wish for this presence to leave us. It is in our way.
And you feel your holy radiance spill forth from you, and for a moment you see this creature look up and hiss as it sort of withdraws ever so slightly, and then a shimmering sort of seems to come over it, and it just looks towards you, its red eyes blazing, and it does not move. You feel an intense hatred coming your way, Roman, as this creature speaks directly to you. No, child of Markovia, I will not be moved by your petty magics, not even by an artifact like that. No. The time has come, child of Markovia. I will have my vengeance.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play the campaign Curse of Strahd for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Curse of Strahd was designed by Christopher Perkins and based on the adventure Ravenloft, written by Tracy and Laura Hickman in 1983. Dungeons & Dragons is published by Wizards of the Coast. The music is created by Metatron Omega, Flowers for Body Snatchers and Word Clock, and is used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Visit cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for more tasty dark ambient. A new episode of Red Moon Roleplaying is released every Friday. Please like our Facebook page and give us feedback, comments and input there. You can also visit us at redmoonroleplaying.com. Finally, a huge thank you to our growing base of supporters. You are truly amazing and inspire us so much to keep going with the show. If you haven't yet found us on Patreon, please have a look at the links in the description and see if you want to show your appreciation and encourage our work with the show there. While the show will always be free of charge to our listeners, Patreon supporters have access to extra material such as our bonus Q&A podcast Ask for the Moon, where we discuss all topics and questions our Patreons have for us. You can even get access to the full-length, raw and unedited versions of our gaming sessions way before they are released as finished episodes. Thank you for listening. Looking forward to meeting again next week.